to the reboot of In the Car with Black. I am Jay Black, and we're going to chat it up today. So it's been a while, about 3 weeks since I posted a podcast. And so I've changed the format. So it's still available on podcast, but now I'll be doing the video recording also on YouTube. I had to take a moment and kind of reboot myself along with In the Car with Black Coffee and Conversations. Why? Because it beats like that sometimes. Honestly, sometimes it's just you need a reboot, right? So for me, the holiday season is always a tough season for me. I have a very loving family. I'm very happy with my family. Um, but I've experienced a lot of death and sadness in the month of November. So that kind of kicks off, a rough time for me. I actively fight to enjoy holidays for my family, mostly for my children, right? And because I want to be happy. It's a great time. Holidays represent a lot of things to a lot of people, but for me, holidays always, and it doesn't matter which holiday it is. It could be Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, whatever it is, it makes me think of spending time with my family. To me, holidays represent family time. And so I want to be happy with the time that I'm spending with my family. Like, who wants to be the sour side and who wants to miss out on the fun and the joy? And, tomorrow is not promised. So when I get a chance to be with family, which, of course, this year that did not happen, I want it to be a good time, right? Okay. So for years, I just went with the sadness. I didn't do anything. There are many years my children will tell you they had no Christmas tree. They had gifts. There was no decoration, nothing in the house that said it was Christmas or holidays or anything like that. And one day I had to say, boo, it is not all about you. Sometimes we have to step outside of ourselves for the benefit of others, which in turn, whenever, ever we step out of ourselves for someone or for our family and do something to make them better or feel good or enjoy themselves, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna make us feel better as well, right? So November came and like immediately, boom, like clockwork. November 3rd, boom, shut down. On and I was dealing with some things. And let me just say this: I struggled with what I was going to say on this podcast. The reason being is when you share your story, when you're transparent about things you've been through and experiences that you have had, and of course from your perspective, because everyone's perspective in the situation will be different most times. Um, it may make people look bad. It may put them in a bad light. And I had to really get to the place of that's not my problem. If this is what you did during this time or in this situation, or this was your role in my life, it is what it is. And me not saying it doesn't change that that's what it is. You know what I mean? So I always I was recording and I keep deleting because I kept trying to word it just so people who may see it won't be offended if I'm talking about them or if I'm talking about their family member. And that's not my problem. That is absolutely not my problem. I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to tell you what I've been through and how I overcame and everything like that, and what made me who I am today, and how you can go about doing something different. We're going to dialogue, and I'm going to be transparent, and I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can, because I get sick to my stomach when I'm trying to, beat about the bush. It's just not my nature. I'm very direct. So I'm about to lay it all on the line. Well, not all of it. Not in this video podcast. Not all of it. But I'm not going to hold back and beat about the bush as to not offend. Okay, so here we go. So what was I going through? So November is the anniversary of my father's death when I was 17. I lost a cousin. His name was Dennis. We called him Bobo in November. Grew up with him like like a cousin slash brother, big brother. For a long time, I didn't have friends. I only had my cousins because my mother has 20 brothers and sisters. I didn't need friends. I mean, we all need people and things like that. But when I was younger, I had 50,000 cousins. I was good. And my mother spent her time when she wasn't working, like the weekends, we spent it between certain relatives. And so I came up with them. They're my cousins, but some of them are like siblings. You know what I mean? So I lost a brother, cousin, Bobo. And then I had a cousin recently pass. She passed at the end of October. We buried her on, I believe, November 1st. And then 10 years ago, I slipped into a coma on November 3rd for 4 days. And yeah, so November, not a lot of good memories, right? And all of those things that normally bother me come November, I was dealing with. And um, the other part of that was my family is a blended family. It's a wonderful family. I have a lot of children. Yes, they are mine. No, I didn't birth them all, but they are all mine. They'll tell you they're mine and I'm theirs. So my family is very blended, and that comes with struggles. No matter how hard you try, if everybody's not on the same page, it's gonna be rough. And a lot of times, what happens is we look to what we've seen in our families, in our home, in our communities, TV, internet, all of that stuff to determine how things should go. Maybe we don't seek it out, but those images and those memories, they start to frame us, right? And so my ex, he allows that stuff to frame him. When he and I finally physically parted ways because we lived in the same house almost 3 years, not being together. We were not in a relationship, but we lived in the house together. That's a whole nother story. I thought I was making a good choice. It was a horrible choice, but nevertheless, here we are, right? So when we finally split ways, I thought it was amicable because we hadn't been in a relationship for almost 3 years. He had a girlfriend that he clearly loved. They had been in a relationship for quite some time. Clearly, we're good, right? Because I'm not mad. I spoke to her. I had conversation with her. Like, because I didn't want when my children go around him and her, for my children to feel like they had to be mad and they had to have an attitude with her because mommy didn't like her. So, I thought everything was amicable. And he left the house. It was all good. It was not all good. It was all good for me. It was not all good for him. Immediately, he came to my house trying to stalk because I was dating my now husband. And he came through the block behind me, through the alleyways, trying to come in through the backyard to come in my kitchen door because what he did, but he thought I wouldn't check. But everybody who know me know I'm not a dummy, right? So when he left the back door unlocked and figured I would never know and he would be able to sneak in and out or pop up. I don't know what he thought, but he unlocked the door. But I'm from Brooklyn. I mean, we were living in Delaware at the time, but I'm from Brooklyn. Like, it's embedded in me. It is embedded in me. And you don't kind of leave things unchecked because if you slip up, Sunday gonna get you. That's the mentality in Brooklyn. You can't slip up. They're going to get you. So when that night, I checked the back door. It was unopened, unlocked. I locked it. It didn't dawn on me that he unlocked it. Honestly, I thought one of the kids that went out and didn't lock the door. Locked the door. Boom. So I went to the store. At the time, I used to twist locks. I used to do people locks. I used to have locks for 18 years. All of my children had locks. And so I had started twisting people locks as a second income. And it was this young guy that I used to do his hair. He was like a consistent client, right? So he called me. I was at the store because, oh, when my ex left, this dude came out with my coffee maker in one hand and coffee in the other hand with his bags. Took my coffee maker, y'all. But I was happy to have him go, so I was like, take it. So the next day I went out to the store to get coffee maker and all this stuff, whatever. And I'm in the store and I get a call. And the young guy was the young guy. I think his name was Jamal. And I was like, hey, Jamal, what's up? And he was like, Miss J, where you at? I was like, oh, I'm at Family Dollar. What's up? You need your hair done? He was like, nah, I think I see Mr. So-and-so. I'm not going to say his name, but if you know me, you know his name. We was together almost 15 years. You know his name. I think I see Mr. So-and-so getting arrested, and he named the block behind me, like on 10th Street, I think it was, or whatever it was. And I was like, nah, he in Middletown. He was like, no, Miss J, I'm sure it's him. I was like, what? So I get in my stuff, I get in my van, and I drive around, and I passed my block and went into the next block, and sure enough, it's two police cars, and this dude is in a police car. And I pulled out, and I get out the car, and I'm looking like, what in the world? Now, this is the block behind me, not my block. So I said to the police officer, he was like, I was like, what's going on? What did he do? He was like, you know him? I said, yeah, he's my husband. Right? And I did this because we were legally married. I thought we were legally married. We were married. We had a marriage certificate. And then after the separation, his mother, who didn't like me, doesn't like me, one day was having a rant or whatever, and she was saying he was married to somebody else. And when I left New York, she kept saying it. She kept leaving me messages, and that was one of the low blows. And I sent off for the marriage certificate, just thinking like, maybe, maybe not, I don't know, and sure enough, he was married. I know her, and we talked, so I called her up and was like, did y'all ever get divorced? She was like, no, I thought you knew. I was like, no. She was like, yeah, no, we never got divorced. I was like, cool, boom, so I wasn't legally married. But anyway, I told him that's my husband. And so they said, so the man said, well, and he's screaming from the car, bail me out, tell my sister to bail me out. And the man is saying, the police officer, he's saying, ma'am, you can't keep taking him back if he's doing this to you. Like, because he told me he was going through the back. I was like, well, I don't know what you mean. I'm not bailing him out. I'm not taking him back. I don't care what he's saying. That's not what's happening. Like, somebody just called me and said it, and I was unsure because he was supposed to be in Middletown. He called himself creeping to see if my husband was in the house with my children. You serious, bro? You should have knocked on the door. You could have called me. I would have told you, you know me. I'm a very honest person. So it started right then. Things went down. Things have not gotten better. It is years later. Things have not gotten any better. So we would be fine, and then people in his ear, he washed up, and then next thing you know, he's calling me out. Like, I can't even talk to him anymore. And so right before this, a series of things with him happened where he threatened me. He came down, tried to take my children, tried to run up on me during this process. And that was wearing on me. Even though I handled the situation with the threats, I called the police, everything. I did what I was supposed to do. But The problem was I was in fix it mode, document it mode, do it mode, but I wasn't in healing mode. Um, Dealing with what it felt like to be threatened by somebody that I fought for many years. Um, Dealing with what it felt like to see that person run up on me and have to put myself in a stance of if it's me or you, it's going to be you. Um, Dealing with the fact that his approach with my 15-year-old son is always very rough and it doesn't end well, which is his son too. Um, it's a clash all the time, and that affects me because it affects my son. And so, and I didn't deal with any of it, so I was harboring it. And then November came. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just piling and piling and piling and piling. And then I started the podcast, and my throat, I started having a problem speaking. You could hear the rasp in my voice. That's not my normal voice. I haven't heard my normal voice in years. And um, I went because right here it would get very sore. Um, I would start coughing. My eyes would start running. It was really bad. I was taking lozenges all the time for it. And then, so they did the test where they put the scope down in your nose and look down, and that petrified me, the thought of having to do that, right? So I did it, and there's a type of reflux. It's not acid reflux. It's laryngo something reflux. And they said I needed to take this medication to stop the reflux, and that will give this time to heal, and it wouldn't be so raspy, wouldn't be so much pain, and all like that there. And I was just like, boom, because I already have medical issues that I deal with, mostly pain, on a regular basis. I did not want another medication. I did not want another situation. But I'm just pushing on, right? And it's just piling on top, on top, on top. I am not processing anything. I am in full woman mode, compartmentalizing everything, dealing, moving, making sure life goes round and round. And when November came, it was just like, boom. Everything that I had been piling on top was like a game of Jenga, and something or someone or me, I don't know, moved the wrong piece of wood. It all came falling down, and underneath the pile was me. So it took me about 3 weeks to get it together. It was really bad. I didn't want to talk at all, not on the phone, not on Facebook, not on Messenger, not via text, not in my house. I just didn't want to talk. Um, and it was bad. That's bad for me. I'm a talker. Y'all can tell I'm a talker. I talk. And I couldn't do it. Like, I had nothing nice to say. Every negative emotion that I had, every negative experience that I had, wanted to explode on whoever I spoke to. It just wanted to. And at that point, I know that's me. That's not these people. These people minding their business, living life. All of this is me, and I have to bring it down. And so that's what I did. I kind of just shut it down. People who really, really loved me, they understood. They would still message me, how you doing? I'm praying for you. Da 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 da. People who didn't understand would take it personal. How you be friends with somebody and they don't want to call you back and all this kind of stuff and da 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 da. And oh, you can't answer my call. Not realizing that my behavior is different. My patterns are different. I'm behaving differently, and or maybe they realize it. I don't know. And maybe saying like, you know what is it? What are you going through versus you doing something to me, which then added another layer of who really cares and who really doesn't. What people value my relationship or the relationship that we're in, and who really is just want me for them, for what I can offer them, which doesn't have to be a financial thing. It's an ear to listen, it's advice, it's whatever. But Once I wasn't given that, it was a problem. Instead of seeing, what, am I okay? Never checked. Never checked. Never. And so that added to it and everything. And honestly, I had to do some work. Like I prayed, I journaled, I talked to God like, okay, what's going on? What's my purpose? Why? What am I not doing that you told me to do that this is the outcome? Because that's what I felt in my spirit, that God wanted me to do something. I wasn't doing it. And everything fell because I wasn't doing it. The first thing was I wasn't praying like I was supposed to be praying. I wasn't. And that's where I released my stuff. When I talked to God, God, this hurt me. God, I'm hurt. I'm offended. This, bothered me. That's one way, right? The other way is I tell people, I try to tell people what I'm feeling. Remember when you did, this is how it made me feel. I'm not certain if that was your intention, but this is what it did, right? And so I wasn't doing any of that. I wasn't doing the things that I know to do. The Bible say if you have an art with your brother, you got to go to them. You got to say something. You got to try to mediate that, get it done. If you can't do it, then you add mediation. That's what I meant. You know what I mean? Get somebody else in, an elder, somebody more with more wisdom and thing. Blah, blah, blah. I was doing none of it. I was just bottling. And then finally, I got tired of being tired of this stuff laying on top of me. And I started to move piece by piece. I finally spoke the words. When so and so came here and tried to take my children and run up on me, that hurt me. It made me feel bad. And it made me feel bad because even after we separated physically, because remember we weren't together for a long time before we physically, he left the house. Even after that, if he needed help with a resume, I helped him. If he was having a problem and he just wanted to talk, I would listen. He needed advice on what was the name of that doctor I went to. I was always, hey, this, that, third, blah, 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 because I thought it was amicable. We was cool. It was blah, 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 blah. And now you consistently are blowing up on me and cursing me out and calling me all this stuff and trying to, turn my kids against me and everything like that. And so just pushing. I never dealt with the fact that this breakdown in communication with the person I'm supposed to be co-parenting with was a heavy burden, and it was hurtful because I thought we was cool. So I started verbalizing stuff, saying stuff, telling my husband about how I was feeling, telling my cousin how I was feeling about this, that, and the third. Just not bottling it in, now actually saying it, writing about it in my journal, praying, reading my scriptures. And God said to me, I told you to do the podcast. Yes, Lord, and I was doing the podcast. The format that you have, that's not what I told you to do. I'm sorry, what? He said, I told you to talk to the people. I told you to do the podcast. I told you to do it. How you get to just interviewing people and you got a whole schedule, girl? Let me tell y'all something. I had a whole schedule of everybody I wanted to interview. I had a calendar. I have emails generated that I just plop in it. Like I did a whole thing. He said, that's not what I told you to do. That is not what I told you to do. And I was like, you're right. My apologies. That's not what you told me to do at all. I stepped out. I apologize. He was like, all right, now get to work. And so here we are at the reboot. So I not only had to reboot the podcast, I had to reboot myself. I had to take time for myself. I had to take time for me. I had to start doing because I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother, all of those things I take very seriously, and that's what I focus on. But for a long time, I wouldn't do my hair, I wouldn't get my nails done, um, I wouldn't go out. I had a homegirl that I used to go to church with. She kept inviting me to lunch, and I kept saying, "Oh, I got this with the kids. I got that, and the kids. I got that." Last week I went to lunch, y'all. I was like, I'm tired. Like, how can I pour into a family and I am empty? I have no idea who Black is. All I am is mom, babe, mother. That's it. That's not what I was created to do. It is my greatest task. Those are my greatest titles. Those are my best uh, jobs and responsibilities. That's not all I was created to be. I'm a woman. I'm a whole beautiful woman. And I need to take care of this woman because this woman, if she's not taken care of, she can't take care of anybody else. You know what I mean? So I went to lunch. I had a fantastic time. We ain't do nothing but eat and talk. But it was no give. You understand what I'm saying? It was even exchange. One woman to another. Y'all see I started doing my hair, putting on jewelry, putting on makeup, doing like being me. I'm praying more again, back to praying like I'm supposed to. I still do what I'm supposed to do for my children. I still do what I'm supposed to do for my husband, my grands. Like I'm still on it, but now I've gone from pushing through to now taking time to process what's happening, what I need to do, how I'm feeling about that, instead of compartmentalizing everything to a later date so it could blow up in my face and in everybody else's face. I'm dealing with it right then. That doesn't mean I'm getting into, you know, arguments or confrontations or everything has to be said to a person, but I'm allowing myself to feel what I feel, and then I journal it because it's important to write it down. It's like getting it out. Sometimes it's not expedient to say what you have to say to a person, but you gotta get it out. You know that feeling? I got to get this out. Journal it. Stand in the mirror and tell. You know how we do women? When he get here, I'ma say, or if she say, stand in the mirror, look, or hey, however your approach is, stand in the mirror if journaling doesn't do it for you. And say what it is you have to say with the emotion that you have to say it. You understand what I'm saying? Do what it is that you have to do to release it so that you're not carrying this burden on your shoulders. Because what happens is your pressure go up, you start having heart problems, a whole bunch of things go on that are unhealthy for you. The person walking around, they chilling. They chilling. Everything good with them. But you're suffering because you're holding on to these feelings, this weight, and everything like that. It does not help us to start bashing and blowing up on people, and it doesn't help us to hold it all in. Journal, sing, draw, paint, do hair, do your nails, craft, write, whatever, read, whatever it is that releases things from you. That's what you need to do in order to make certain that everything is good with you. You can't hold on to stuff and expect to have a happy, healthy life. We have to let it go, but we have to be mindful about how we're letting it go. Because if we're not, what happens is we're going to die. We're going to kill ourselves because our health is going to be poor. Our health is more important than pushing through. And it's okay that something hurt you. It's okay that you're feeling in a way. You're sad. You're not pleased. That's okay. A lot of times people will try to tell us it's not. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. Everything is not going to be joyful for us. Everything is not going to make us feel great. But how we handle those feelings, that's what's important. That's what we need to make certain is good, how we're handling it. So let me ask you a question. What's bogging you down? What's in your Jenga? What's in your Jenga? Now it doesn't have to be recent. Sometimes it's things from years that's just still with us. What's in your Jenga? What's there? Now I don't suggest pulling the pieces from the bottom. That was ugly for me. Okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. But start taking those pieces off from the top and addressing them. Putting them where they go, how they go, perfectly, or as perfect as possible. Start taking them pieces off. Start taking them off and addressing them. Get yourself a nice journal. It's always nice when it's pretty or rep out style or whatever. Not just a composition notebook unless that's your thing. You know what I mean? Something that is going to entice you to use it. Okay? A lot of times that's not a spiral notebook, right? So, and if it is, cover it. If that's what you can afford, decorate it. Get a blank piece of paper, draw something, color it, blah, 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 whatever you got to do. Because, we can't always go get a leather-bound journal. Make it work for you, right? And start journaling. I suggest that you have one on your bedside table, but that you have something that is either in your car, in your pocketbook, or something. So when something happens, you can jot it down right there. Just jot down the notes of what it was and what you feel right then. So then when you get home, you've taken your shower, whatever, you've eaten, you got your little tea on your night table. Start journaling. And you can look back at your day's events and, oh yeah, that was great. That made me feel wonderful when so-and-so did or said, or when I accomplished this, that, and the third. Oh, I saw God today in this, and this. I'm grateful. You make certain whenever you journal, you put what you're grateful for. It don't have to be a whole long list. It can be a whole long list, but it don't have to be. Just make sure you put what you're grateful for. Not just this happened. Oh. No, I'm grateful for, right? Because when you look back, because you should look back at what you wrote, because you want to monitor your progress, right? You want to see where you grew. You want to see where God came in and delivered you from this. You want to see where this thing you were working towards and asking God to bless you with, yes, you got to work towards and ask for God to bless it. They go together. Faith without works, dead, right? So have faith that God gonna do it, but you got to do your work too, right? So you want to see the blessings that God gave us, because here's the thing. Sometimes we be like, God, I want a new car. I need to be getting around. I got to go to the store. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I need a car. And we like, yeah, he going to give me a Maserati. Yeah, yes, he is. Now, he may not give you a car because you may not have a license. But he'll have your neighbor that will take you where you need to go for little or nothing because they know you need help, right? Or he'll make it so that you can work from home so you don't need transportation to and from work, right? So you got to see where the goal was to be able to get to and from work, and that's the blessing I got. It just wasn't a Maserati like I had envisioned. So we want to see these things, so you got to write them down. But you also want to be grateful, because a grateful spirit will always generate more. Because why would God give us something and we're not grateful for what we have? He not. You're not, right? And you know what I mean? We definitely not better than God. So I know me, if I give my child a pair of expensive shoes, a pair of expensive shoes, uh, and they ruin them 2 weeks, they all through the dirt, through the mud, they climbing trees, but they got play shoes. But this is what they doing with these expensive shoes. Baby, your next pair coming from Ross. Walmart, you keep messing with me. Yeah. That's just me. Why would I now buy you another pair of expensive shoes when I know this is what you're going to do with it? You didn't appreciate them, right? Same thing, same concept. So we have to have a grateful spirit. So you want to journal. You want to make sure you document what you're grateful for. You want to have those tough conversations, but you want to have them in love. Meaning, don't go rah-rah. And I would suggest not saying you did this, da, 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 da. This is how I felt after our interaction at this time when this was said and this was done. That's how it left me feeling. Okay, because the person is either going to say that's not what I intended, or good, that's what I wanted you to feel, and then you know which way to go from there. That's not what I intended. That's more of a conversation. So what did you intend? Right? Or that's what I intended. Okay, so now I know I gotta cut you off because you want to cause me bad feelings. Right? So you want to journal. You want to have those tough conversations. Right? You want to forgive. Forgive people. Forgive yourself. I know that forgiveness is the key, right? Because forgiveness frees us, and it's not a gift to the person we're forgiving. It's a gift to ourselves, right? But a lot of times we forget to forgive ourselves for bad decisions, bad choices. You know, we just don't forgive ourselves. We are so boom, 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 boom. You did, you this, you that, you this, because you did, because you did. No, we have to forgive ourselves. Black, I forgive you for staying in a relationship so long when you knew y'all shouldn't have been together to begin with. You let loyalty to a friend supersede what you knew was right. Right? I had to forgive myself. Forgive yourself. So you're going to journal, you're going to pray, you're going to have them tough conversations. You are going to forgive others and yourself. Right? Then you got to come up with a plan not to be here again. Right? So for me, my plan was, when it relates to feeling bad when the holidays come, I started 12 Days of Christmas with my family, which is a celebration from the 13th of December to the 24th. Every day we do something different. I started decorating in the holiday season, planning my meals early, and consciously just having a better outlook, making certain I have a better outlook. As it relates to co-parenting, I don't have anything to say, because that situation is ugly, right? So now the children are of age that they can communicate on their own. I don't say anything. I don't. If there's a question that comes through the child, I'll answer it. If you want to speak to me personally, not doing that no more, because it always ends very ugly. That's not good for me. That's not good for my pressure. That's not good for my mind, my heart. That's not good for my self-esteem. I don't care what nobody's saying. It is not a good thing ever for somebody to keep calling you out your name. Even if you know that's not what you are, it is not a good feeling, and it is not good for your psyche or your spirit to keep being attacked that way. Okay, we could say, I don't care. I don't care because I know who I am. Okay, we know who we are, and we know what you say don't matter, but it's still, it affects. So I just don't have that conversation. I don't have any conversation anymore. My goal is to never say anything anymore, right? Um, and I pray more. I pray more. I pray more. Talk to God more than I was talking to God. I still got a ways. I could be praying more. I could be talking to God more, building up the relationship more. Um, but that's what I did. What what's in your Jenga? Start taking off pieces today. Start taking off pieces today. Because you're worth it. If no anybody in this world is worth your work, your time, all of that is you. You get the best ROI with you. hmm The best return on your investment is when you invest in you. Seriously. Try it today. Let me know. Like, comment, share this video or podcast. If you're listening on to the podcast, go over to Facebook to J Black Coaching and leave me a note. Write me a post telling me what's in your Jenga and what's your plan. Okay? If you're watching this on YouTube, put it in the comments, or you too can go over to Facebook and put it over there. But let me know what's in your Jenga and what you gonna do to start moving the pieces off the top. Because if you don't, we know something or someone gonna slide the wrong one from the bottom, and it's all gonna come crashing on us. It's never pretty, and we don't want that. All right? Thanks for talking with me today. It was nice chatting it up with you. Y'all be easy. Peace. Hey, welcome to the reboot of In the Car with Black. I am Black. We have changed a few things since the last episode about 3 weeks ago. So not only is it a podcast now, you can also catch episodes on YouTube at J Black Coaching. We'll be going live on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. Also, all J Black Coaching. I want you to like, comment, and share on the videos. Let your friends know what you're watching. Let them know that there's some information over here for them. Also, comment what you think about what we're discussing. Comment up with what you're dealing with. Any suggestions that you have for anybody going through the things that I'm discussing in the videos and on the podcast would be awesome. Iron sharpens iron. So let's help each other out there. Okay, so we're going to get started. You got your coffee? Good. Let's chat it up.